I've been a youth coach for quite a while. Obviously, when you have, kids involved, as a dad, you try to get involved. I played football at Syracuse, the 80s. I don't want to date myself too much, but I'm an old guy. Youth football has been a big part of my life, and now I'm coaching high school. I'm actually coaching at Erasmus Hall in Brooklyn. I spent a large majority of my football coaching career in Long Island, so I feel I have a good idea of what's going on in the youth game out here on the island.
Gerald Filardi, we know him very, very well, played in the NFL, has a huge background of coaches here in Long Island. He's had an unbelievable career with youth sports and what Long Island sports has really turned to. Him and Ben have really turned this thing around here in Long Island. What's going on, Gerald?
Not too much. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And if you guys remember, we had them. They did a radio show on our network for a little while. And, it was actually pretty popular for a lot of the youth football players that have followed Gerald's career and what Gerald has done with youth sports and high school sports. It's growing. I really believe the transition of what the game's going to be with all these different contracts these college kids are going to get and everything. It's going to change everything here on Long Island. I think it's going to open up a lot of parents to put their kids into football now because of the money that they could be making going into college football. But I hope so too, man. I really do. I've been saying it. So, Ben, why don't we get into this article? You sent me the article. ESPN wrote a fabulous article about this right now going in through the last couple of years, really the last 10 years of youth football and what it's been and what it hasn't been when it comes to talent coming out of Long Island like we expect it to be with all the young talented young players, football players, even basketball, hockey, and baseball players coming out.
It's one of the best written articles, football in New York. I grew up in upstate New York in Saratoga Springs in the Capital District area. And then I had moved to Long Island and realized immediately how popular lacrosse was, how popular soccer was. And football was a distant third or fourth behind all of those sports. And I guess, it's got to be like 13 years roughly now that Gerald and I got involved and we started wanting to raise the level of Long Island football. And over the years, there's been a lot of success stories. There have been guys have gone on and played Division I, played in the NFL. And this article really talks about really kind of how New York has faded from the youth level through the college level, particularly the college level. This article talks about, and I found it inspiring and wanted to just bring this back to really Long Island specifically and talk about youth football straight through the college level, because we've had a ton of success raising the level of Long Island elite football. Again, we've been at this for about 12, 13 years. When I say we've been at it, I don't mean just myself or the two other guys you see here. There's a whole bunch of other people. There's just so many great volunteers that have helped us do this, from Nassau County, Suffolk County, going into even into New York, Metro New York, the Harlem Jets. I mean, really, there's been no differentiation or really separator in the mission. We got a lot of awesome volunteers, and how we've been able to do all this is just by putting relationships first. That's it, man. It's not about anything. All of the programs that we run, money's not a factor. Yes, they have fees just like lacrosse, soccer, and everything else, but we scholarship a ton of kids and we never turn a kid away for financial reasons. And it's been awesome. It's been a great journey. We had a lot of success this past year. We took some teams down to return to Texas. We had one of our senior teams go down to Texas a few years ago. And that age group, I think, is seniors now. That group went down. I think maybe even Al was part of that group. I don't recall. And they won some games in Texas. And then we had gone down with the senior teams to play in the New Year's Bowl in Texas and spanked them. They didn't score a point on our Long Island elite teams. It was awesome. They didn't score a point. People were shocked down there in Texas. And it was just really the culmination of 10 years of hard work, and not just the game and not just Long Island elite, but everything. Seeing the kids at Erasmus Hall, seeing the kids at Holy Trinity, seeing the kids that have been part of our program at Longwood High School, the quarterback who's at Northport High School. I mean, it spans private schools, public schools, all races, black, white, Asian. Like, what we've done is worked so hard to raise the level of football. And I'll segue to, there's still a ton of work to be done. There's a ton of work to be done. We're still way off where we need to be. And when I say way off where we need to be, it's not so much that we don't have the talent here. It's that some of the systems and the mentality and the culture has to change if we really want to get the most and give these kids, no secret, recruiters are coming here in droves for lacrosse and soccer. There's no secret. There's no reason why that shouldn't be happening for football. And it's starting to happen. Like I said, we've had some real success. I mean, we got kids in this senior class that played for Long Island Elite, that played for PST, that played for a lot of the youth programs on Long Island. These kids have offers and they're playing at the higher level. And it's more than we've ever seen before. You've had, yes, you mentioned Jeremy Ruckert and Jack Cohen. And both of those guys were products of the places that they trained and the people like Justin Cull and Billy Rahm at Superior Athletics and the people that were so passionate about helping them. And Jack Cohen's coach at Sayville High School, who did everything to help him reach his dreams and get promoted. Like, those two guys were two success stories. And now, I mean, you got a ton of success stories. You got Josiah Brown, you have KJ Duff, you have Coach Al's son, Caden Brown. You have so many guys. I mean, I'm only mentioning a few, but there are a ton in this senior class that are getting offers, and it's more than ever before, and they're more exposed than ever before. And the talent is finally being realized. You have high school coaches that now have relationships with Division I colleges that they didn't have those relationships previously. And it wasn't necessarily because of Benjamin Carey or Long Island Elite, but guess what? A lot of those kids that got Division I offers within the networking, those high school coaches now were able to establish relationships because of that kid with those recruiters from the colleges. So there's been a synergistic effect, and it's just been awesome for everyone. And again, you see it in the public schools, you see it in the Catholic schools, and I'm just so excited about it. And when I read this article about what happened to college football in New York, it kind of got me depressed because we had Hofstra before, and we had so many great things in New York that slowly splintered off. And here we are working against the tide at the youth level, and we're making some real success. So I'd love to talk some more tonight about the culture, how it needs to change so we could really meet our potential. Because there's no secret, we have the talent here. There's no secret. We have the talented football players to go on and play at the next level. But it's still, we're not nearly at our peak potential.
631-672-3108. You can call up the show. You can talk to Gerald, Al, and obviously Benjamin Carey. We are talking to Long Island 495 Elite. These guys have really pushed Long Island football to the next level, New York football, and growing as we see right now, as we talk about Jeremy Ruckert coming and going to the New York Jets in the 4th round, who I think is going to be a very talented piece to the New York Jets' growth in the future with the tight end position. But, Gerald, you've been doing this a very, very long time. You played in the NFL. You know what it takes to get there. And the time that you played college football all the way into the NFL, what is the difference that you have seen with the league and the growth of all these different leagues, from the youth leagues to the college and then all the way to the NFL? What have you seen that has changed?
From when I played, obviously the recruiting process has completely evolved and changed. You're going back to VHS tapes and snail mail. So the recruiting aspect of it has changed. The platform is completely different, which is great. I think it's definitely evolved, and it gives these kids the opportunity. So it actually helps us in the Northeast and on Long Island, to get the recruiters here to see us when they can't get over the bridge. It gives us another avenue in that aspect. So because we definitely have the talent. But each level is a stage, and Al will test it. He played a little bit before me, not much different, but each level, from the youth level to the high school level to the college level to the pro level. I mean, everything has its aspects as far as the level of play that the kids have to develop. And it starts with the fundamentals. It starts with the technique, and then building from there, building your strength, building your speed, your quickness, your agility, and then it's the football IQ. As you develop in the game, it's understanding the game, the strategies, where to be, when to be there, and those are the things that make the difference. And I think that's something that us as coaches have tried to install based on our experiences and what we've learned. I had a great high school coach. He recently passed, integral part of my process and my success in my football career. But if I knew the things that I knew in college, when I knew them in high school, I would have been even that much better than I was. So just those little things. But my coach, every coach is different in how they affect your career and what they do. He wasn't one that needed to tell me to, go lift, go run, get yourself bigger, faster, stronger. I did that on my own. But he gave me the guidance of, keeping a level head and the avenues to get to where I wanted to be, and being that mentor and being that coach that cared. Not the best as the X's and O's now that I look back on it, but he was a guy that cared for every one of his players. So you have different coaches in different programs, and they offer different aspects. And those players have to realize that and understand what these coaches are doing day in and day out to help them advance in their career. Not everybody's going to make it to the college level. Not everybody's going to make it to the pro level. But you can be successful and have a good high school career. You could have a good college career, and obviously the pros is the pros. That's the business.
Al, you look at the talent that has come out from the Northeast, and really the growth of the training that some of these kids have. When you played football, when you played college football for Syracuse, it was a different ball game. The training facilities are completely different. Now you have all these different things that you can do in Long Island, what you could do in Brooklyn, and to really train all year round. There's just so many amazing things that you can do. Tell the fans a little bit about what the difference has changed from when you played to now with the training facilities that you guys have made out here on Long Island.
There's so much opportunity for young athletes to get proper training between facilities. There's so much information out there as well with the internet and things. The information is there. The training is there. The trainers are there. And the kids are willing to do it. That's the biggest change that I've seen over the years. When I was growing up, you didn't have all this extracurricular training that was going on outside of the season. You basically played football during football season, then you moved on to another sport. Now you're seeing more kids specializing in a particular sport at an earlier age. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's the reality of it. That's where we are right now. And to a certain extent, I think we are seeing a benefit of that for all sports, whether you're talking about basketball, baseball, lacrosse. A lot of kids are getting the proper training and learning about the game, how to play it the right way at an earlier age. That's the biggest difference that I see. And like Gerald mentioned, the whole recruiting game is totally different. Before you just kind of went to school, you played, and you hoped the coach came and visited and watched some tape and had a conversation with your coach, and then it kind of went from there. Nowadays, there's a million camps that these colleges hold that, an informed parent can take their child and take them to these camps. And if they perform well, that's just another avenue, another way that they can kind of get on the radar with some of these college coaches.
That's a great point. And I'd love to get into the culture on Long Island from the youth level right through college, and really the meat and potatoes of this show. I think overwhelmingly for the younger kids, having a kid that's a multi-sport athlete and having them involved in different sports is great. But the reality also is we are seeing things now at the older age groups. These kids are doing things and that they've never done before. The one-handed catches and all the spectacular things that you're seeing at the college level. Let's face it, a lot of the stuff that is happening now hasn't happened before, and it's a result of the specialized training at such an early age